Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another very exciting trialogue right here at the 17th edition of the India Digital Summit, a phenomenal summit that's featured more than 140 speakers and having the presence of more than 2,500 delegates. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us back in. Now, we're about to deep dive, finding out more details about the next wave of retail. And this is where we're going to interpret the evolving landscape of digitally native brands. First up, we have with us someone who in fact got hooked to music and the ideology of the legendary Bob Marley with a quote saying, "Love the life you live and live the life you love." While on the other hand, our next speaker is someone who's known for his curiosity levels and also believes that if you fail fast, fix fast. And at the same time, the one who's spearheading the session over here is someone who's held leadership roles across industries such as fintech, adtech, and consumer verticals. Ladies and gentlemen, first up, we have with us Mr. Aman Gupta, co-founder and chief marketing officer, both. We are also joined by Mr. Manish Chowdhary, co-founder, Wow Skin Science. And to spearhead this fabulous session, we have with us Mr. Praveen Sharma, COO, Commerce Services, Paytm. Let's have a melodious and a beautiful round of applause, everyone. Let's welcome all our three speakers right here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to request you to take your seats, and I'm going to quickly hand over the session to Praveen. Over to you then.
Hi, is this working? Yeah, okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Welcome to the afternoon edition of this fireside chat. So, delighted to have both these very sterling founders here from the industry. My first question, as we kick off, Aman, is to you. I read your tweet in the morning about fake products and how, that doesn't work for the consumer, the brand, and for the overall industry. And as we go along, a large percentage of fakes are being manufactured and sold in the market. So, specifically, like, how do we resolve it? Is there a way to address it? How should the industry sort of think about addressing this issue?
Hi everyone. Glad to be here. So straight to the first question of the first tweet, of the morning tweet. I don't know whether you've seen the tweet. So there is, that we are going through some fakes which are happening, and every day there are, there are a lot of consumers who are buying boat products from fake websites. So I just put a tweet that, guys, please be careful. Don't buy it from these fake websites. So, when we started off a few years back, we were very happy in, making the brand, right? पहले तो हमें भी लोगों को बोलते थे कि अरे ये तो इसका प्रोडक्ट इसका कॉपी दिखता है, ये इससे इंस्पायर्ड है, और फिर धीरे धीरे हमने अपना ब्रांड, यू गाइज आर कंफर्टेबल इन हिंदी ऑल्सो, राइट? सो धीरे धीरे हमने अपना, वी मेड आवर ब्रांड, एंड देन द फेक स्टार्टेड कमिंग इन, एंड व्हेन द फेक स्टार्टेड कमिंग इन, आई स्टार्टेड फीलिंग नाइस इनिशियली कि यार हमारे फेक बन गए, मतलब ब्रांड में तुझ तो दम होगा, राइट? तो शुरू में अच्छा लगा, लेकिन धीरे धीरे जब वो उतरा, और फिर जब पता लगा कि भाई ये तो मेनेस है, सो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मैनेज इट. But now, thanks to the industry, in fact, I called up Vijay Shekhar Sharma in the morning because the guy doing fakes is doing it from UPI Paytm ID. So
if I had known, maybe I wouldn't have asked.
No, I knew you would ask, right? So I called up Vijay Shekhar Sharma कि भाई ये देखना जरा आपकी ये क्या हो रहा है. Then he's helping me, and I met him because of the industry. So I. So I think it is something which we are managing, and it is something which we have to live with, right? जो एक लाइन नहीं है, जिसका नाम है वही बदनाम है, right? So हमारा fakes है तो है, क्या कर सकते हैं? But we'll have to manage it because consumers buy it because they think it's bought, but it's eventually not bought, and then it comes in for warranty, and then we have to tell them we can't service you because we can't. Unfortunate. It's a weird situation to be in.
Manish, anything from you?
Yeah, same like Aman, we used to be very thrilled when knockoffs were then said, people would say the brand's arrived. we've done a survey, 10 to 12% of our products are fake, right? So it's a menace. And at the end, we have tried doing so many, I mean, we did technology also. Each bottle of ours has a unique QR code, which we embedded into the bottle. But we still see enormous amount of fakes which come online. We see it even offline pretty large today. Do remember, we're not in electronics like how Aman is, we're in personal care. A lot of our formulation has been developed over years. But the fakes are really dangerous to use on your face as well as on your hair. But we've tried everything possible. I think it's the lay of the land. Consumers need to be a little bit more cautious.
So do you actually deploy resources in your organizations to specifically to address this issue?
Yeah, so at our end, we have an average of 1 raid every quarter, and those raids are expensive. You really go with law enforcement really going in there. But I can just imagine, and I would request consumers to be a little bit cautious more. I think it's more of the price where they get enticed over buying this, but it's how it is. We have to factor it in.
Got it.
We can only over communicate with our consumers to really address these issues. Address these issues.
Got it. Okay, so let's move on. My next question is around. Let's talk a little bit about distribution. So every time I read anything about D2C, I mean, it's hard for us to ignore one fact that increasingly there are more omni-channel D2C brands. A lot of, I'm guessing, and I'm not sure of this, is that both of you also started online and then transitioned to offline as well. So my question is, how do you see this evolving? Point one. And I think a related question would be, we also read a lot of stuff about tier 3, tier 4 growing faster than the metros, et cetera, et cetera. And is there an interplay between those smaller towns and whether you're doing offline or online? Like, so how does this, like, how do you want to comment about this distribution and how does it evolve?
Yeah, see, at our end, tier 2, tier 3 is real India. If you really see at our end where we have close to around 60% of our sales coming. Loyalty in those towns are much more stronger than where we can find in tier 1. One is accessibility of better brands, are not too many there, right? So I think tier 2, tier 3 is real Bharat. And that is something where we are addressing a lot more. Even our omni-channel over going towards offline has a lot of strategy towards what pin codes we address to consumers in those regions. How do you get deeper, right? What is D2C today? I think D2C is a channel, it's not a brand anymore. What are D2C brands like us today? You have to remember that as a starting point. We are rule breakers. We do opposites than what traditional consumer brand companies do as well as companies, right? We take risks. And that's going to be our DNA. And omni-channel is critical, but when you have to trigger omni-channel has a time, right? Your proof of the pudding of product, pricing, all comes online. Once you get a fit towards that is when you start moving into omni-channel. At least at our end, we continue to do that. We have obviously our mother brand, Wow Skin Science, Wow Life Science, which is pretty strong in that. We have a lot of other brands coming in this year, where you will build a lot of your muscle online. And once you get a lot of pipeline towards it, that's when you go to omni-channel towards where it is. But D2C is online. It's the fastest way to get to a consumer. You fail fast, fix fast is the medium online. You'll get to know whether you're a hero or zero really quickly there, right? And that's when you start going through the omni-channel playbook, at least at our end. But still, our DNA is very, very digital.
Very, very.
So, people in Delhi, I always say this, people in Delhi have all moved in buses, right? नहीं यहाँ पे तो क्राउड देख कर लग रहा है कोई बस में नहीं जाता होगा बट दिल्ली में ना बहुत लोग बस में जाते हैं वो बसेस होती थी D2C बसेस होती थी राइट और जब पहले D2C का कोई वर्ड नहीं होता था पहले कोई DTC बोलता था तो वो बस याद आती थी एंड हमें जब हम पैदा हुए थे तो हमें बोलते थे लोग ऑनलाइन ब्रांड्स फिर ऑनलाइन ब्रांड से हमें शुरू में हम इन्वेस्टर्स के पास गए तो लोग बोलते थे कि कितना बिजनेस कर लोगे राइट ऑनलाइन ब्रांड ओके तो फिर हमने थोड़ा और साल बीते, लोगों ने हमें डिजिटल ब्रांड बनाना शुरू किया, दैट यू आर डिजिटल ब्रांड्स, यू आर बॉर्न ऑन डिजिटल। फिर हमने ऑफलाइन बेचना शुरू किया, तो लोगों ने बोला कि तुम ऑफलाइन में क्या उखाड़ लोगे, राइट, बिकॉज तुम लोग सारे ऑनलाइन ब्रांड्स हो, डिजिटल ब्रांड्स हो। बट आई थिंक आजकल क्या हो रहा है ना, देर इज, यू आर अ ब्रांड, you may be born on different places. I call, and I'm using his word for it, it's called Doordarshan era, right? एक Doordarshan era के brands होते थे पुराने. So those brands were born offline. There was nothing known as online market. But if you look at the online market today, all these offline brands are coming online, right? There is no brand which is now only a pure play offline brand. All these offline brands somewhere are working on online or D2C. If you look at us, we were born on Amazon and Flipkart, right? Initially Amazon and then Flipkart. As a marketplace brand, we started our D2C journey 2 to 3 years back, but now we are killing it on D2C. D2C means our own website, and we are growing much larger on our own website than any other marketplace. Then third is we started offline. Offline means these retailers, mom and pop shops, and that is also growing like crazy. And if you look at India, 90% of India is still offline. They are not online. So the room to grow for brands is immense. Whether you're born on, I think he was born on his own website. He was like, yeah, we were born on Amazon. So I don't care where you are born. I think today the market is, if you have built your brand on X, you can go to Y and Z. So growth is huge on all channels. It's not that the marketplace is not growing. It's not that the offline is growing. And it becomes easier, right? Today, when we were born on, when we made our brand popular on marketplaces, I don't need to spend so much for customer acquisition on my own website, because people know boat now. People buy boat, coming on boat as, I want to buy a boat headphone. Even in offline, I don't need to promote the brand, because people know about the brand online very well. I don't need to spend enormous money on offline. So I think, the lines are getting blurred, and all channels should be leveraged depending on the size scale where you are from.
I see. And so when you think about, I mean, this is generally, I'm trying to understand. So when you think about smaller towns, in the smaller towns, because your distribution offline will be pretty costly, I mean, do you still reach the, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because in a small town you may get a store, etc. It may just be a little bit, so do you reach those people mostly, like when you grow there, are you growing through online or offline? Like the smaller towns, let's say in a tier 3 town, your faster growth will come through online channel or through offline channel?
So online is easy. We are already, if you ask us where do we sell online, wherever Flipkart, Amazon, or all these guys sell. If they are, it's not my job to cover pin codes there. It's their job, right? My job is to ensure that my brand is bought by people in the whatever town you want to call it at. They want to reach the whole India. They've already started delivering in 97 to 98% of the pin codes. So I am already there. Offline is a little difficult to crack, because you need to have your fleet on the street. You need to have people. You need to have, and it's a very different mindset. In online, it's very easy that I'm selling to the retailer who's selling to the consumer, right? Here you are selling to a master distributor, to a distributor, to the retailer who's selling to the customer. So it's got a chain. It's not like a direct chain. So it's a different mindset. For me, I didn't have the money to go offline earlier, but now we've raised some money, and we're now planning to go offline.
Got it. So I think that makes it interesting. So in which case, I think just moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the role of the marketplaces, and it seems like they are fairly central to your channel marketing and distribution, etc. How do you sort of think about, I'm guessing like most D2C brands, and I may be wrong here, but that's the assessment I have from reading all the stuff that we do, is that you want to rely less and less on a marketplace and you want to rely more and more on your own channels, as you know, it's fairly obvious. Do you see ONDC playing a big role in the future here? I mean, it just got started. You know, do you think the pace of acceleration there is good? Like, in what kind of time frame do you think it'll start becoming a little more meaningful?
Yeah, great question. We just listed on ONDC. I think we were one of the first personal care brands to list. I'm a big fan of UPI. Same teams working on that project. It's the future. Let's be honest. Your own website or your own distribution is very expensive, and your highest amount of investment comes from there. Marketplace is critical because it's a place where discovery of your brand happens. It also gives you a great fitment on the product stage point of view where you are. And as a brand, you know, we started off first on our own website. When we started advertising, got a lot more popular. It had a lot of spillover effects on marketplaces. For marketplaces, it also had a lot of demand for us in offline. So it's a journey. Marketplace is extremely critical. Obviously, you don't have the data of the consumer. And do remember, that's a consumer who's also trying a lot of other products. So you're seeing a lot of lesser loyalty. Your own website obviously controls a lot more towards building pipeline towards loyalty, new launches. What do you build only for your own website? But that's the funnel where we do it. But if you ask me, ONDC looks very interesting. Could be winning in few categories. Could be great in ours. Could be great in electronics. Not too sure on food how it might disrupt. But at least for personal care and at least on day-to-day whatever essentials, it's a good discovery platform. Where at least where we are looking at. Haven't seen any good sparks on it yet, but I'm really excited to see towards the end of the year how do they really pick speed up there.
Aman?
I'm a big believer of the India story, if you ask me, right? I remember a few years back when UPI was coming up, there were some people who said UPI won't pick up the way UPI has, right? And I would say they missed the boat there, right? So UPI has become one of the most phenomenal things India has produced. Yesterday I was reading that in Singapore, now India can do transfers from Singapore to India through UPI. Yes. Outstanding, bro. I was in Dubai last week, and you know, the ambassador of India to UAE, he was there, and he was saying they are also planning to do a UAE to India UPI transfer. Imagine, that is outstanding. If that happens, who believed that UPI could do it? There were so many naysayers, right? And now UPI is big. ONDC can be as big as UPI, is what the dream of the government is. When people were saying, you know, I'll tell you a small example, my anecdote. When we were not making in India, you know, Make in India started happening a few years back as one of those, you know, flagship programs of Mr. Modi and the Modi government. And look at what Make India is doing. People like us got excited about it, and we are all now making in India, right? People didn't expect that to happen, that we will be able to make in India. Nobody expected that. So I am saying ONDC has just started. And I remember, you know, Mr. Modi one day, where was he? I think in somewhere he said, India is not like a flight, which goes like this and goes like this. India is like a train. India is a big country, and it moves like this, right? And when it moves, it moves. So I think ONDC is here to stay, and we all feel that if that picks up, nothing better than that for the country.
That's awesome. Great deal of optimism there. Okay, so moving on. So, you know, I think in the audience we might have some people who are either starting up now or may plan to start up anytime in the future. So one of the things that I was very keen to get from both of you is that you have been helming your specific industry verticals for a long period of time, and you've been working in these industries and trying to grow them. If you were to start up today, right, and this is for the benefit of all the people, like I said, who may be thinking of starting up, etc., and wanting to pick, and you do not have the option of picking the categories that you already own, that you already are in, like, what industry verticals would you start up in, and why?
Yeah, you know, you will be surprised if I tell you that there are so many new categories coming up. If you look at any industry, like if you look at their industry, they were mostly selling shampoos and normal stuff. But now there are some brands who are now focusing only on one category called coffee, and they are making coffee shampoos and coffee products, right? This guy started with apple cider, right? Their biggest product. Mamaearth started from one small product category. So even in these big categories, there are, I would say, there are these smaller niche segments which are coming up, right?
I mean, the qualifier I have is that, look, every founder, when he or she start, they obviously want to become very big, right? So, and as you get very, very niche, the profit pool available to you is small. So, I mean, taking that also in consideration, of course, you can make the best apple cider shampoo or whatever else, but there's only so many people you're going to get. So, I think I get what you're saying, but also looking at, the profit pools available
I don't agree to what you're saying, because then to nobody will start up, right? And if you don't start somewhere small, look at any industry today. If you look at us, people said that, ye kya ukhad lenge, right? We were doing cables and chargers, small products. And then we started doing audio. People said, audio mein kya rakha hai? Where the whole world was, even the VC industry was fighting for marketplaces. Then they started, there is a rat race which happens in the VC world, where all of them run after one thing. Then they started running after fintech. Every VC had a FOMO that I also want to have a fintech. Then they went into health tech, right? And all of them went into health tech. Now all these VCs are having FOMO on D2C, that they want to have a D2C brand in their portfolio. I don't care. I don't think that is the right answer. If you ask me, there are profits. You have to build a brand somewhere. Wherever you get a space, enter. If the door is open, put your foot there and enter into that category.
So what's the door for you today?
What category will you be?
What is that door for you?
I will do shampoos.
I definitely will not do audio. Okay.
I mean, जहाँ दरवाजा खुला मिले घुस जाओ. अब अगर मुझे सब पता होता तो मैं खुद खोल लेता ना यार अभी.
Manish, that's not a great endorsement. I mean, he believes that the door is open there.
No, it's not open. So to answer the question, I don't know right now. If you look at space tech, robotics, if you look at health as a industry, where and what to do in health, I don't know. But these are some underlying openings in the industries which I feel.
Yeah, so our doors are open first. Let's start with that. Let's talk about the next 20 years. And first, I don't have a choice to change industries. I have got two large PEs with me. I have to give them exits whenever the time comes, but razor sharp focus on what I have. But any of you guys who are looking at starting a business or a brand, I think 20 years is what we are looking at least I'm looking at. This is India's next 2 decades. We as a nation are very underprivileged on having great brands in this country, right? Let's start with that. I'm a consumer guy. I love interacting with customers every day, so that's my DNA. I don't think I can move from that at least in my lifetime, right? I would have loved to be in services, a product-less journey to a customer, but I have a passion for consumers. So any of you guys looking at starting a business first, I'm not going to be getting into audio for sure. Anything, at least on the digital side, any of you guys taking inspiration, product, gross margins is critical. 65 to 70% gross margin critical. Brands need a lot of marketing money, and I think that's going to be a moat for years to come. As a founder, as a brand, capital as well as brand building is critical. It's a painful and a tough journey. There's too much clutter in this Indian ecosystem where we have today, which is great to be a consumer, but not to be a great time to be a founder, if you ask me. And I think keep it very simple. Insight of a product category is critical. We are living in a digital era where you'll be able to get to know what consumers want and not want easily by a lot of data scraping. So I'll keep it very simple for any of you guys. Look at an opportunity with consumers. When we started, I think there were a handful of people like us started digital. Today we have 4,500 D2C brands in this country. And I think Shark Tank is ruining everybody's CAC here. So I think the culprit's sitting right here. But you know, look at the bigger picture. It's great to be an Indian consumer today. And survival of the fittest is going to be the moat. You have to have a product differentiator, marketing differentiator as a starting point. I think then the doors are open permanently for long. So I'll keep it short. High gross margins, insight to something what consumers will want to have for a long time should be a moat towards what it is. Capital and marketing is going to be some big investments. Timing is very critical.
Okay, so some good advice here. So I must tell the audience at this stage that I spoke to both Aman and Manish, and both of them are quite open to taking questions from the audience. So if you guys have, we will come to the audience. So if you guys want to sort of think about and articulate your questions, etc., we'll do the report. So are we done with the time? Okay, so we can continue for some more time, right? Okay. All right. So since you talked about all these industries and all the opportunity, I want to, get a interesting perspective from each of you guys. Founders today, such as yourselves, are newsmakers, right? Are big newsmakers, right? There's you shape public opinion, lots of following on Twitter, on social media, etc., etc. Now, I want to ask each of you, what if you have to look at India ecosystem, what is the founder you admire the most, other than your co-founders, that you're working with, and other than the two of you for each other? Like, who would you say that I really admire this guy, and this is what he or she has done, and this is very interesting. So the audience wants to know.
So there are, I would say, I will divide that in two parts, right? One is a founder, who's coming from a business family. Then I would respect Tata's a lot, where, even after it being a generational business, they've been able to redefine how TCS is doing. They're able to redefine now on travel with Vistara, and we all have a trust on Tata that अगर Tata कर रहा है तो ठीक ही होगा, अच्छा कर रहा होगा और consumer का ध्यान रखेगा. Whether it's Taj Hotels, keeping up with the times. We know so many business families, where second, third, fourth generation have just ruined the family, right? So in that manner, I love Tata's as a company which is like strong on purpose, on ethics, on customer satisfaction. If you look at the new generation of founders, I like the Flipkart guys. I'll tell you why. Sachin and Binny Bansal. I haven't met them ever, but if you look how they have, there was India Times shopping, there was Rediff shopping, there was Snapdeal, there was Amazon coming in, there were so many Nazara, Naptol, this, that. There were 100 shopping sites, right? But still, Flipkart was able to do something. Even today, they are able to fight an Amazon a few years back, and they are still surviving, and customers still buy from there. In fact, they are doing very well in some of these categories where they are existent, right? So they are one of these poster boys of Indian startup world, and they give inspiration to a lot of founders like us that you don't need to worry about global brands. If they could do it in their category, so can we do it in our category. So I think for me, Flipkart guys, in that sense, I'm sorry, Vijay Shekhar Sharma also, yeah. So he's not bad in Paytm. But for me, they are among the top.
Awesome. Manish?
Yeah, I'll go with the usual. I think I admire the Zero Da founders a lot.
Nitin.
that's a founder's journey, which is incredible. And I've found a new fan founder for myself. Could be off target. Any of you guys have seen Romantic on Netflix? I think Aditya Chopra was mind-blowing for me as an entrepreneur. Was mind-blowing. I mean, just look at the detail of a founder, first taking a legacy ahead, going first day, first show, watching and seeing insights, when a audience claps, when they walk out for a popcorn, had a detail each movie which he went into. It relates a lot towards our journey as founders too, right? It was, I think, his first interview which he did. I think you guys should go and see that. It was mind-blowing, at least for me. So I've found a new fan following in him, which is spectacular. I think you guys should see it. It's off consumer as what we are doing, but the principles of building something is so spectacular. And also the journey of how he's planning to institutionalize a company. He's come into a lot of phases to come and say, you know, I had to come and bail out a lot of time to YRF, which is spectacular, right? I think it's a mind-blowing. Aman will like it. He loves his Hindi movie dialogues. He'll relate it a lot because that was spectacular for me to watch over the weekend. But
awesome.
That is something which I think is spectacular. You guys will take inspiration for anything you guys want to build in future.
Awesome. That's a great perspective. So, guys, what we'll do is we'll have a quick report launch. There's a this IMI D2C report, which we'll talk about, and then we'll have the option of some audience questions. So if you guys have any for the two guests, then we'll take them after that. Yeah.
Thank you, Praveen. That's right. I'm sure everyone's eager to also ask questions to all of our panelists. But before that, I'm going to request all of our three speakers here to please come together for the launch of the report. Now, this report is done by IAMAI and One Lattice under the guidance of Aman Gupta and Manish. And this report will also be available. First, let's have a round of applause. That's right. Now, let me also inform you that this report will be available online on the IAMAI website. And so, which is why I'm going to request all of the three of you to please come together for the unveiling of the report.
Oh, okay, this is the report?
That's right. Let's have you all unveil it. And then we can have you all come together for a quick photo op. I'll ask Praveen as well to join in. No, we need all three people, media photo as well. It's so nice to see Praveen being super nice to that wrapping paper. But we'll just quickly clear that out because I'm going to request all the three of you quickly to come together for a photo op. And then let's also have you pose for the media. We also have our friends from the media, so let's do that one more time. If I could request Aman, Manish, Praveen, one more time, if you could just pose one last time, because we also have our friends from the media right behind, so let's have it captured all across. Yeah. Well, let me inform you all that this report is available online on the IAMAI website for all of you to take a look, so please don't forget to do that. With that, I'm going to request you all to take your seats again because now it's time for the audience Q&A. Praveen, over to you.
Okay. It's working?
Yes, it's working.
It's working now? Okay, all right. All right, so any questions from the audience? Okay, there we have a lady in the black in the middle of the room. Can somebody give her a mic, please?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Manish and Aman, for lovely insights. Aman, I'm a big fan. I watch you every day. So my husband's an entrepreneur, so I know the kind of sacrifices you've made probably to reach where you are. So my question is, currently India is in a complete wave of raising investment, starting a company. What do you feel, how important is to raise investment if I am a profitable company already? Is it necessary that I look out for investment or run the business myself with the kind of funds I'm making through the business already?
Great question.
So, thanks for watching Shark Tank.
I didn't want to promote Shark Tank, but you said it.
No, but I want to. I took that opportunity. Keep watching.
Yes.
So, if you ask me, question मैं भूल गया क्या था?
Question is that if I'm already profitable.
Yeah. So if you can sit down, it's fine. So raising, not raising, is a founder's outlook. Frankly speaking, if you are profitable, don't raise. I remember Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani of Naukri. He uses a line, and he says that it's better to raise customer money than investor money. राइट बिकॉज जब आप इन्वेस्टर के पैसे रेज करते हो ना तो आपको उसे रिटर्न देनी पड़ती है यू आर एनी वे साइनिंग अप फॉर अ ट्रेडमिल एंड यू हैव टू कीप रनिंग ऑन इट नाउ यू कुड हियर इट इन हिज वॉइस ही वाज सेइंग मुझे अभी फाउंडर एग्जिट देनी है तो वो स्ट्रेस आ जाता है सॉरी
you're also in the same boat.
Yeah, we are in the same
boat.
So till the time you don't need it, don't raise it. But if there are some industries, if there are some companies, if you look at the Zomato, Swiggy's, if you look at the Paytms, and you start seeing the industry where probably there was a winner-take-all market, and if you can help supercharge your growth by taking funding, there's no harm. So for us, if we had not, when we took funding, it was more for, I don't know a lot of things. I don't know how to run a big company. When I went to Kaval, I raised at 100 crore valuation. And I went to him and we were already doing 100 crores in sales. And he said, I will not give you a valuation. I said, doesn't matter, sir. Why don't you come in? And you choose the valuation and I'm okay with that, right? And he said 100 crores. I said, done. Then from 100 to 1,000, he was instrumental in our growth because he was able to connect the dots. He was able to give us a vision of what to do, how to do. Then from 1,000, we have Warburg Pincus and Qualcomm. Now Qualcomm helps us, apart from the money, Qualcomm is helping us make in India well. Warburg is helping us grow from 1,000 to 10,000. So you look at what you need. It is not just money. If you need money to kill a competition, to maybe outgrow the competition, to run fast, because if you don't and your competitor does, you are anyways dead. Because he's going to buy market share, he's going to buy companies, he's going to buy better technology, better people. So it depends on the entrepreneur. If you ask me, keep it to the last May. Although we all raised, a lot of us have, but my personal view would be don't raise money. Run it till the time you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any?
Hi Aman, again a very big fan, of you also. So I just want to ask this, like you also mentioned that you always wear a boat t-shirt because everywhere I go, you say that, okay, boat, right? So someone who's running a B2B SaaS company, like for example, I'm building one of them, it's a very developer friendly market. The clients are B2B, but the users are developers. So if I wear my t-shirt, it's very good for the tech community, but I don't get sales from there, right? So how do you think can be a creative way of using this thing in a B2B SaaS way, kind of like?
Mat pen.
T-shirt. How to make it like?
Have you seen Laksh movie?
Yes.
तो लक्ष्य में क्या होता है वो ऋतिक रोशन ना ऊपर चढ़ रहा होता है ठीक है और उसके साथ में ना उसका एक आर्मी का मेजर होता है और मेजर कहता है सर मुझे नीचे देख के डर लगता है तो ऋतिक कहता है मत देख
नहीं so we need to do branding as well right
अरे तो और ऑप्शंस हैं भाई मतलब ब्रांडिंग के दिस इज नॉट जस्ट टी-शर्ट ही पहन के ब्रांडिंग हो जाती है यार product works, mailers work, B2B में तो mailers and the community outreach works. You work with a lot of community guys, work with the technology guys. Bring them to 5-star hotels, dinner kara, lunch kara, party kara. So I think that helps in B2B more than, your work will speak, your productive work will help. If you have a good product, then they will anyways come to you. You don't need to wear t-shirts for that. For us, it's, I love my brand and I wear it on my sleeve. That's how I am.
Okay, so we have lots of people. So one second.
Praveen,
Yeah.
just before, I'd like to interject here because we also are going live, which is why we got some questions on Twitter. So before we pass the mic, can I also ask some questions from the Twitter?
Okay, one question from Twitter before we go to live questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, please go
So
ahead.
there's a question for Manish. The question is, how important is omni-channel marketing for your brand? How important is it?
Answer that.
That's omni-channel marketing. That's the majority of our burns, if you ask me, because that's ATL. That's where the investment of ours is over the next couple of years. But it's extremely critical. Remember, in our category, 90% of trade happens or commerce happens offline. And an online consumer and offline consumer, though, are almost the same, but are totally different genres. So that's most of our investment. But it's very critical to build that if you want to build a strong offline or an omni-channel strategy. Yeah.
Okay, the gentleman in the front seat, yes, please. Can somebody hand the mic over to him?
यहीं से बोल दो हम बता देंगे.
No, I think the rest of the guys. Yeah.
A very simple question, Aman and Manish, both of you. So, when for the very first time, when you people went in for a funding, right? तो आपके माइंड में ना एक क्वेश्चन होगा कि एक इन्वेस्टर ना मेरे को पैसा दे रहा है, उससे मेरी क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस होंगी, राइट? एक XYZ चीज़ें वो बताता होगा एंड ऑल दोज थिंग्स, बट do they live up to that expectations till the time when they fund you? Point number one. And secondly, who is a better investor, a strategic investor or a VC?
सर पहले तो फर्स्ट रो वाले VIP होते हैं, तो आप करते क्या हो सर?
Sorry?
फर्स्ट रो में नॉर्मली VIP बैठते हैं.
I am also a founding member of a startup.
Which one?
VSPAGI. It's
VC. You're a VC.
No, I'm not a VC.
Then?
Founding member of a startup
Acha.
called VSPAGI, Personalized Interactive Video Platform.
Got it. No,
Thank you.
no, but there are no investors in this room, right? Are there? No, because then I can be frank.
Be frank.
Yeah. So, as I repeating the earlier question, if you money is has no color, value, whatever there is a saying, right? If you don't have an I got investment from another company when I was raising from Warburg. इसमें टाइम अप लिखा है, ठीक है ना? अभी थोड़ा सा कर सकते हैं.
आई एम गेसिंग दीस पीपल विल टेल अस. यस,
तो हटा दो यार. तो उसमें पता है, उसमें हमारे को ना बहुत वॉबर्ग के टाइम पे एक और ने हमारे को फंडिंग दी विच हैड मच हायर वैल्यूएशन देन व्हाट वॉबर्ग वाज गिविंग इन. सो आई डिड माय रिसर्च विद माय पीपल लाइक देयर इज अ पर्सन कॉल्ड श्री राजन. ही वर्क्स फॉर Bain. He was the head of Bain India, and I spoke to a fellow founder community. And they told me that Warburg is one of the best investors. They care about you. They are entrepreneurial friendly. They will be there because क्या होता है ना, जब सब ऊपर जा रहा होता है ना तो सब सही होता है. जब खराब हो रहा होता है ना तो सबसे ज़्यादा VCs और investors जो होता है ना यही founder के बजाते हैं. Sequoia ने अभी बहुत सारे cases चल रहे हैं. There is so much diligence happening. There is so much fraud happening in some of their portfolio companies. We all know how it is happening, right? They will keep quiet about it and they may not openly talk about it. But if you ask me, always look for Sequoia is a good company, and their people love Sequoia as a brand. But if you talk about a lot of investors as a community, you will talk to founders and get to know ये सही है या नहीं है, right? ये अब आप ये क्यों नहीं ये जैसे शार्क टैंक में भी है, तो बहुत लोग अगर मैं अपने आप को इन्वेस्टर देखूँ, right? तो I bring in a value which probably somebody else cannot, right? कई लोग वहाँ पे ज्ञान ज़्यादा बांटेंगे बट काम कम करेंगे. कई लोग वहाँ पे किसी और चीज़ में फोकस इसका होगा, किसी का किसी में होगा, किसी का हेल्थ टेक में होगा, किसी का हेल्थ में होगा. सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन अ फाउंडर लुकिंग एट समथिंग बियॉन्ड मनी. इफ़ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग मनी फ्रॉम एनीवेयर, देयर इज ओनली वन इन्वेस्टर हु इज रेडी टू गिव यू मनी. And you cannot survive without his money. Take his money because you have no option. But if you have more options, then choose between the better option. It's like that. It's as simple as that.
Manish?
Yeah. So I'm an FMCG brand. Remember, I fight with a 90,000. I mean, our TAM is 90,000 crores. You know who's the largest player we are fighting with?
Yes.
I can't mention the name, but at least at our end.
I can. Unilever, right?
Yeah.
No?
At least at our end. See, and I want to get this myth off, right? nobody knows what a founder goes through. All founders here are here to make money. Let's be honest point of view. But there are investments and journeys which are painful, and you have to invest in it. It's compulsory investment. We were bootstrapped before I went and I did a 250 crores top line with a 19 crores profit. Obviously, if you see our balance sheet over the last 1.5 years, there's a lot of investment gone in. At our end, at least, I was very clear. Valuation, at least at our stage, was not a big driver because I had 100% of the company. We still own 56, 57% of the company. Majority is with us. But we were very clear we'll get partners who have a great reputation. And touch wood, I can tell you I'm blessed with having two of the best PEs in this country backing us. And I would say that they're all weather. We've seen 2-3 tough quarters. We've seen great rises. And I'm always a strong believer. You'll always get to know your partners. In Hindi, you'll say you get to know where it is. I won't be able to connect and translate it properly, but tough times will really tell you who your partners are and not. But at our end, I was very clear that the partner or the person who we are partnering has to be having, who should be an all-weather. So that was our criteria. It's not easy to raise money, let's be honest point of view where it is. And we are in a very, very competitive market. We also have a business in the US. I don't know, most of you guys know. We are there in 3,000 Walmart stores in the US. It's the only first Indian brand to be there in Walmart USA. So some of the Indian investors don't understand the US journey. So we had to split our structures up a bit. So choosing a right partner is very critical. Early stage, don't think about that 5, 10, 15% extra going out. But know the right time when to go and raise money. One of the audience asked, we are profitable, should I go in or not? Everybody is here to make money, right? It's about how your ambition is to make it large. And we are all here to make something which is large and impactful. Right. Aman and myself have a decent, see, brands are built on momentum, remember that, right? How large can you make it as a company? And most of our investment is also, we had one thing very clear is that we don't want to be built as a founder-driven organization. Investment into a team is very critical, right? We have got huge investments there which should pay off in a year or two. So timing is very critical. Choosing a right partner is critical. As Aman says, if it's a last bullet, what you got, choose where it is. But don't bring your business to a stage where there's poor runway management, right? You should know when you should be triggering it. Don't have an ego of saying, you know what, I raised it at the last amount and I should be there. It's a journey. Everybody will understand where you do it, and having a right partner is very critical.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Investor, founder dynamics. And guys, I can see a few raised hands, but unfortunately we're running out of time. We have the next session starting soon. I take this opportunity to thank both Aman and Manish, and for the audience, a very participative audience, and you listen to this conversation with rapt attention. Thank you very much, and that's a wrap here.
Thank you for the session.
Thank you very much, Praveen. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Manish. If I could request you all to come together for a group photograph, one last drill. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to request you all to please be seated, as we will now have the presence of Shri Piyush Goyal in the next 1 minute. So I'm going to request everyone, please ensure you're all seated. We also have a protocol to take care of, so a humble request to everyone, please be seated. Thank you so much.